from our social media page. What's an issue you're passionate about? Aged care, feeding the poor, working to ensure young people are safe, for drug users and heavy drinkers, the future of children in the local community, children getting the love they deserve and need, disadvantaged children.
What's an issue you're passionate about?
I think for me, one of the passionate issues that I have would be for people to actually fulfilling their purpose here on this earth and reaching their maximum potential of, why they're here and what they're created for. So to seeing someone actually go about that and fulfilling that role and, achieving what they're supposed to be achieving in life, I get, I'm passionate seeing that and being able to enable people and help people to achieve that as well. So yeah, that's probably one of my passionate issues that I'm passionate about.
Thanks, Chris. That's good. How are you this week, Brooke?
Yes, I'm good. A little bit weary. It's coming up on the end of year, and so yes, a little bit weary, but pretty good. How about you, Tom?
I would say I can resonate with that. A little bit weary and looking forward to a break, which relates a little bit to what we're talking about today, which is finding the motivation, the energy to even care about certain things. My grandmother was admitted to hospital this week.
Oh,
and when that news came in the busyness of the day, it was, almost like, I don't know really if I have time almost to process that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be like that. It's finding the energy to care and to do something about things that we really feel we should care about more. We can find that life can overwhelm us and we might come to lower our hopes for things at times.
Yeah.
You ever found that, Brooke?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like just the weariness that then says, oh, just cut a corner or two, or maybe I have to just block that off, and it's never really healthy just to block things off, is it?
Yeah. Just ignore it. Hope things pan out for the best.
And I think protecting ourselves too, like you were saying, just maybe not getting our hopes up for things, lowering our expectations. All of those sorts of things are just like coping mechanisms, really, aren't they?
Yes, well, when you've been disappointed or you expect that maybe there won't be a good outcome, down come the expectations and, well, almost, you prepare yourself by not caring too much.
Yeah.
I think there's often an opportunity to change situations more than we'd think. There's often something we can do to make an outcome better, but a lot of it comes down to, do we care enough to do something? Do you find that, Brooke?
Absolutely, and I think sometimes it comes down to having the belief that it is the right thing to do. If we think we're just grabbing at straws,
yes,
it doesn't really give us that resolve. For example, I've been visiting a nutritionist to help me with some of my medical issues, and one of the reasons why I really said to my doctor I'd like that is A, accountability, and B, I just needed somebody to give me some advice that I knew was grounded in a deeper knowledge, so that I could then go confidently and apply what they told me and then see if that worked without second guessing myself all the time. Because if you just go to Google and find out what the latest craze is for whatever, you kind of walk away going, oh, I tried it, but I don't know if that was really helpful. Whereas if you're actually traveling with someone with experience and knowledge and understanding about the field that you're actually wanting help with, then you've got that extra bit of confidence and you do go that much better.
And I guess when you're dealing with spiritual things such as prayer, it's like that sometimes. You might be wondering, is this going to do anything?
Especially because sometimes we have a habit as human beings to try to create a formula so that we can get there quick. If I say this bit first and then this bit second and then everything right, then God will hear me. It doesn't quite work like that. But we do fall into that little trap of, how do I expedite the process? How do I go quicker? How do I make sure I get what I want?
Yeah. or even people that wouldn't necessarily say they have a faith would give it a go
Yeah.
and ask people to pray for them.
Yeah.
Just, try everything almost.
Yeah.
When you're in a situation where you don't know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know about you, Tom, but have you ever prayed for something and thought, yeah, no, I don't know that I can actually really say that was a healthy prayer, or have you ever done that?
Yeah, well, I guess sometimes you wonder, is that outcome actually what God would want?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess so.
Yeah.
Thinking about that, have you?
I had a little experience just the other week. We had a little bit of a storm cell come through at our backyard. And, it was one of those things where my husband was out, and the trampoline is usually weighed down really sturdily. He's got a system, he weighs it down with these water buckets, and it does not move. We get a lot of western wind. And so this storm cell was moving our trampoline, and it was not buckled down.
Yikes.
And so I was at the back door with my 2 younger children, and we're like, oh, dear God, please just keep that thing on the ground. And you know what? We saw it stop and stay.
Yeah.
And there is a part of us that goes, does God really care about that? Is God really intervening in that? But in that moment, for my children who are watching on, seeing where I placed my faith, seeing how I handled my scary situation, I believe that for them it was a really important moment for them to see God cares about me. It wasn't a perfect prayer. It was very much a quick, but it was just a beautiful moment for them to kind of have now in their experience of what is it like to do life with God when you get scared or when something's out of your control. So,
Yep. And sometimes you don't expect necessarily the prayer to be answered.
No.
You pray it, and it's sort of like, oh, hopefully, but you don't have that surety, or the prayer's so big you don't expect to see the answer, and it surprises you.
Yes, which is definitely what happened for me. Like, there's a little temptation sometimes to underplay that and go, oh no, it was just the timing, it's
Lower the expectations a bit.
Yeah, so
and
that,
sort of half-hearted prayer to, if it doesn't work out, well then, I can still have some sort of faith there.
Yeah, well, or alternatively, like, okay, so maybe that really was a God-answered prayer in that moment, but what if it doesn't happen next time I pray?
Yeah.
And so we even downplay the experience a little bit of that moment of goodness of God, and we kind of go, oh, hang on a second, it might not always go that way. So we have to kind of then wrestle, I guess, with those doubts that come in a different way, to trust that God is still good, even if our prayers are not answered the way that we hope.
Yeah.
Which is hard. That's the hard ground, isn't it?
Yep. And so coming back to the story of my grandma, to really pray an earnest prayer of faith for her, you've got to muster up that belief and that I really care about the outcome here, which can take effort. And if it doesn't work out the way you hope, when that happens, how do you handle that unanswered prayer? These are tricky issues.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. There's this story in the book of Acts that I like, where this group of believers is gathered and they're praying earnestly for Peter, who's been in prison. It looks like he could be in a bit of trouble, and they're praying, for his release. And the next minute there's a knock on their door. Someone goes and answer it, open it, and it's Peter. He's miraculously been set free by an angel, got him out of prison, and this girl can't believe it, closes the door on him, goes and tells the others, and they're like, what? They don't even believe it. They've just been praying for Peter to be released. He's right there at their door, and they can't even believe it. And he's still waiting outside for them to sort out what's actually happened. which is a great illustration of the sort of thing we're talking about.
Yeah, for sure. Especially because they had just had their hopes dashed with another member of their close-knit group having been through his release was eventually to meet the Maker. It was not the outcome that they were hoping for that person, I believe. So for them then to turn around and be praying for Peter, it was, yeah, it was pretty hard for them to believe that it could be possible, but they were just following the steps of have faith, pray and believe, and even if their belief was small, God still met it.
That's right. That's a great illustration, isn't it? Of our belief doesn't have to be, rock solid for us to pray.
Yeah, actually in devotions with my kids this week, we were reading from a devotional book that actually sort of said, we sometimes criticise Peter for having little faith. We're a bit tempted to be a bit high and mighty about the fact that he started sinking out in those waves, and needed God to help him. But this Priscilla Shearer was actually saying, hang on, we should actually praise him have admiration for him that he even thought, I wonder what God could do with this if I give it to him. That he was willing to get out and go and take that crazy faith step, or even, just trust Jesus in that moment. Her point was, everybody else was just so consumed by what was going on in the physical, and that Jesus looked like a ghost to them, that they couldn't even see past that to be able to think, what could God do in this moment?
Yeah.
So that was pretty powerful.
I love that.
Yeah.
The curiosity. What if?
Yeah.
What could God do?
Yeah.
I wonder if our prayers were like that more often. What could happen in that situation?
Yeah.
Let's pray about it.
Yeah.
Imagine if, that was our natural reaction to things like that.
And I think it helps us then if we are disappointed because things don't go exactly as we set up in our minds that our hopes are. I think then if we have that, well, God, what are you doing in this then? If it's not what I had planned, show me how your plans are higher, how your thoughts are higher than mine, because we do have those moments where we are lost in our own hope and grief, being not quite where we want it to be, and yet we can then still rest in, okay, well, God, your holiness says that you will take care of all things, and so show me the good that can come, even if in this moment nothing is good.
And I think that's the power of community, praying together.
Yeah.
We can encourage each other, and together our stories of how God's worked through our prayers in the past encourages us.
Yeah.
If you take an isolated situation and it might not have been the best outcome, with everybody else's encouragement.
Yeah. Well, and for sure, because we may see it from our perspective, but somebody else may see something that comes of things, and it's hard because we do only have a little small. We see the world in our way, and yet there are so many other things that are affected by all that we experience. No thing is a thing in isolation, right?
That's right.
We really are connected.
Yeah, great point. So, thank you for joining us. We'd invite you to go deeper if you're wanting to. Thank you for watching, but if you want to connect with us on a deeper level, please invite you to look at the description for ways you can do that. That'd be great. That's always an option when you're ready. Thanks, Brooke.
Thanks, Tom.
And please continue this conversation with us down in the comments or on a Tuesday evening at 7:30.